Part of what this council has been doing is pulling together perspectives from across industries, from across different parts of the country, to make sure that anything we do will be fair right across the country, that all Canadians will share in the job of standing up for our interests and, quite frankly, standing up to defend the most successful trading relationship in the world.
Holy smokes, everybody. Canada has defeated the tariffs. Trump is not putting tariffs on Canada February 1st. Dramatic pause. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. Instead, he's waiting till March 1st. Welcome back to the channel. Oh, welcome back to another video, everybody. Before we get into it, I do want to encourage y'all to hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't yet already. It does really help grow the channel. And I need it because I'm being canceled on all fronts by conservative supporters, by everybody. Everybody's trying to cancel me. It is what it is. I'm sharing my opinion. So anyone who doesn't like it can kick rocks. We're taking a look at the extension of the tariffs today. Trump is thinking things over, and this makes Canadian politicians and any politicians who were very much considering a retaliatory response look like absolute idiots. Yep, I've named every single one of them in previous videos, and I'm not going to do them again. Oh, wait, I am. Justin Trudeau, Chrystia Freeland, Jagmeet Singh, Mark Carney, all the Liberal candidates, except for that weird Indian model chick, Ruby, or whatever the hell her name is. She actually wanted to work out a deal with Trump, which is pretty interesting. And last but not least, Pierre Poilievre. They all look like absolute idiots standing there with their dicks on their hand because the tariffs might not actually come on. As we've seen with Colombia, Colombia needs to take back a bunch of illegal immigrants, and America said, you're taking them back right now and you're going to give us the plane. Colombia said, no senor. I don't actually know what language they use. And then he said, yeah, you are. And then went on and off for about 30 minutes over X. It's all public. To then, while Trump was golfing, won the debate, and the president of Colombia sent a presidential plane to collect all of those people. And then the tariff threats were removed. Now we have 30 more days. 30 more days to fix our border. That's it. That's all. That is absolutely phenomenal. So instead of thinking of retaliatory responses, Justin Trudeau version 2, female Justin Trudeau, and conservative Justin Trudeau, Pierre Poilievre, hate to say it, but that's my opinion. I think that the response should be what Danielle Smith's response has been. Provide a border Caesar, whatever the hell that's called, and actually get the job done. And then in those 30 days, Trump might come back and say, hey, look, Canada, you've done it. No more tariffs. Not yet. So yeah, lots to take a look at today. This is some breaking news. And without further ado, let's just get right into it, shall we? Starting things off with this video right here. How just the other day, before this latest announcement, which was done like 30 minutes ago, that tariffs are now extended to the 1st of March, Trump said that Canada maybe the oil might be exempt from the tariffs, which is pretty interesting.
Speaking with reporters at the Oval Office yesterday, Trump reiterated he will be following through with his threat to hit Canadian and Mexican goods with a 25% border tax. But he added oil might be exempt from that. Trump said he'd make his decision sometime last night, but there's been no updates so far this morning. He says the U.S. can sustain itself without Canadian resources. Some Alberta industry experts say that's not the case, though. One energy analyst CTV News spoke with says he's always been very hopeful oil would be exempted from Trump's tariffs, adding there's no need to pick a fight on oil when there's no benefit to the U.S. In response to Trump's comments, Alberta Premier Danielle Smith's office says it's monitoring the situation and will have more to say once the decision is made. The Premier is also repeating her call to appoint a border czar for Canada to give a little...
That's what I said, a border czar.
Alberta,
Caesar.
$127 billion worth of energy exports to the U.S. last year, making up 82% of the province's trade with America. Back to you.
Okay. So there you go. Anyone who's been thinking of a retaliatory response, I'm sorry to say, but that's the total wrong approach. And now we're being proven that Well, he just drained the swamp in Canada. Every single person, every single politician, every single person that's like, we need to fight back. Yeah, no, that's very nice, but that's like a chihuahua saying we need to fight back against a pack of wolves instead of saying, please, please, pack of wolves, let me live a little bit longer. And now we know who that is. So congratulations, everybody. The swamp in Canada has been at least noticed. Speaking of swamp, can't say that word without taking a look at Justin Trudeau version 2. Mark Carney says he's going to remove the carbon tax. So now we're into a whole new mix, all right? The dog and pony show of Pierre Poilievre being the official opposition is over. And I know this likely feels like I'm attacking Pierre Poilievre, but I'm just objectively speaking the truth. Some people got offended. I said my truth. So the freaking truth. The my truth. Everybody is now saying scrap the tax. So there you go, Pierre. You're going to have to come out with some new opposition points, which I wouldn't recommend that being let's put on the tax, because everybody's saying the exact same things that Pierre is saying. At least when it comes to the border, we should try to secure the border. But if Trump wants to put on tariffs, then we're going to fight them back dollar for dollar. Every single politician, every single candidate that's running right now has said that, minus that Indian model Roby. Every single politician is committed to scrapping the tax, minus Karina Gould, but she's not even really relevant. And like, whatever. She's going to get like 2% of Liberal voters. She won't win at all. So there you go. What else differentiates Pierre Poilievre from the rest of the candidates, the Liberal Party? Well, you've got Ukraine. Pierre is extremely big on supporting Ukraine, critical that we haven't been sending enough money to Ukraine. So now the goalposts have moved. Pierre Poilievre and the Conservative Party should be sweating. They should be very nervous. I'm not saying that the Liberals are going to be getting my vote. I'm not suggesting that the Liberals are going to be getting your vote. I'm just saying that all of Pierre's like main talking points are now getting copied by the Liberals. And so now there isn't much of a difference in terms of slogans or talking points or ways to go about policy than Pierre Poilievre and the Liberals, which is very, very scary for the Conservatives, hence why they should be sweating right now.
President Trump thinks Canada will cave in. We will never, ever bow down to a bully. Canadians will always stick together. And we won't stand by as tariffs hurt our workers and their families. Canadians need to remain united. Now, let me be clear. The situation, unfortunately, could not be more serious. And at times like these, we need serious leadership and a serious plan. I'm ready to stand up for Canada. Who's with me?
So there you go, right? He's not going to bow down. He will immediately remove the consumer carbon tax, which is weird because that's the title of this video. But I don't think we actually heard him say that in that video. But nonetheless, right there, CTV, I guess, clickbaited me. I wonder what that feels like. So there you go, right? Pierre Poilievre's, all his talking points, all his approach to policy, it's all being copied by the Liberals, right? I'm not saying that I agree with it. I'm not saying that they're going to win my vote over, but to the average person who's just looking at what everyone's saying, now everything is almost equal ground, which is a very scary thing for any opposition party, because then it comes down to, well, if they're all saying the exact same thing, all it comes down to is which person do you actually like better based off of the way they talk, the way they walk, maybe their appearances, whether he or she looks like a prince or princess, whether he or she planks, because that was a thing right when Trudeau got elected. Like, that's pretty much all it comes down to. And that is why Pierre Poilievre should be sweating. Again, it's not me bashing on Pierre at all. It's actually the opposite. It's me saying, hey, man, I think we need to reevaluate some of these tactics. And then, speaking of tactics, you got following Trump's announcement of tariffs, Mexico conducts the largest fentanyl bust in history and arrests thousands of drug dealers, updates White House daily on progress. Meanwhile, Canada says, hey, buddy, F you, buddy. We're going to tariff you dollar for dollar and leave fentanyl alone. Leave our fentanyl alone. So there you go. Very, very different approaches to this situation. In fact, Mexico has come out with some statements here. We're going to take a look at this video. Good thing it has subtitles.
Siempre vamos a mantener el diálogo. Es fundamental en la relación entre.
It's fundamental between Mexico and the Canadian government, or the government of the United States. There's a dialogue table.
Y tenemos plan A.
We also have a plan A, plan B, and plan C.
Para lo que decida.
For whatever the government of the United States decides. And goes on to say that they are planning for in case the tariffs do get put forward. But from my understanding, after watching quite a few videos, I haven't actually seen Mexico come out with hey, cabron, we're going to tariff you peso for dollar. Like, that's not a thing that Mexico has been saying, which is a big difference to what Canada has been saying. But now let's get into what Justin Trudeau just said today. Here we go, because somehow he's still in the news, even though he resigned but not resigned.
Right now, we're showing the new American administration that they have a strong partner in Canada when it comes to upholding border security, all while simultaneously underscoring that we won't back down, that if tariffs are implemented against Canada, we will respond. We won't relent until tariffs are removed, and of course, everything is on the table. Part of what this council has been doing is pulling together perspectives from across industries, from across different parts of the country, to make sure that anything we do will be fair right across the country, that all Canadians will share in the job of standing up for our interests and, quite frankly, standing up to defend the most successful trading relationship in the world. One of the things that this council has been very strong on is saying that this is the opportunity for Canada to move forward internally on free trade within Canada. As we look at challenges with the United States, as we sign free trade deals over the past years with the world, we know that internally within provinces and across territories, there are barriers that exist that would be better for Canadian businesses, Canadian workers, and the Canadian economy if we removed. So we have stepped up our actions on internal trade. As we speak right now, Minister Anita Anand is hosting a meeting of provincial trade ministers elsewhere in this building to move forward on ambitious proposals on internal trade. We know there are things we can do to increase Canada's competitiveness and effectiveness in a more complex world, and moving forward on internal trade with new energy is something that this council has been directly encouraging us and responsible for us doing. Of course, I won't sugarcoat it. The nation could be facing difficult times in the coming days and weeks. I know Canadians might be anxious and worried, but I want them to know the federal government, and indeed all orders of government, have their backs. That was the topic of conversation 2 days ago when I had a First Minister's meeting with all
I'm convinced that Justin Trudeau is just a professional LARPer. He's live action role playing. He puts a big bass on his voice, and he pretends like he's some sort of a notorious leader, and that we all have to follow everything he says because he tries to talk like he's from the Autobots, a Transformer Megatron. Like, I just don't get it, bro. You resigned. You committed to resigning. Anything that Justin Trudeau says after that commitment to resigning is not taken seriously. Nobody's listening to him. I mean, yes, technically we are listening to him, but it's more to make fun of him than actually listen to what he's saying, if that makes any sense. But now that I'm thinking about it, that's kind of been my approach for the past few years. So maybe nothing has really changed at all. But nonetheless, I'm just absolutely fed up with Justin Trudeau. And I don't think that he should be steering the ship with these tariffs at all, which is probably why part of the reason why Trump said this right here, exclusive. Trump set to impose tariffs on Mexico and Canada starting March 1st, sources say. So I think there's a lot of moving parts in Canada right now. And, you know, Mexico also has a lot of criminals running into America, way more than Canada. A lot of drugs running into America, way more than Canada. So there's just a lot of moving parts. And with Canada on the verge of, you know, an election, a liberal leadership election, Trump isn't an idiot. I'm firmly under the belief that he sees what's happening and says, okay, well, let's put some fear into them and let's just keep extending it. And, I got confidence that they can get the job done. And then we can say, hey, look, everybody around the world, you listen to America, you ain't going to get the sauce, which again is a very, very good tactic, because even if Canada didn't listen to America and we did get into a trade war, we would very quickly almost have to become a 51st state, because we would go broke very, very, very fast, because he's not just going to let us slap him and then walk away. But let's read this article, shall we? U.S. President Trump is expected to announce new tariffs against Canada and Mexico that will begin on March 1st, but will include a process for the countries to seek specific exceptions for certain imports. 3 people familiar with the planning told Reuters, and this hit the press before it did any other media. So this is literally exclusive to Reuters. Good for them. The tariff situation remained fluid on Friday, and no decision is final until Trump makes a public announcement. The sources, who asked not to be named because they are not authorized to speak publicly on the matter, said they did not have details on a final tariff rate, but noted Trump has consistently said that he plans to impose a 25% tariff on imports from the 2 countries on Saturday. Separately, an administration official said Trump on Friday was reviewing tariff plans, which may allow for some exceptions. Still, any exemptions would be few and far between, the official said. While the announcement of tariffs may roil financial markets and strain the U.S. relationship with its top 2 trading partners, offering a 28-day window before implementation and a process for exceptions would suggest a more careful approach by the Trump administration. It would buy more time for negotiation over actions by Canada and Mexico to meet Trump's stated goals for the duties to pressure the 2 U.S. neighbors to halt the flow of illegal immigrants and deadly fentanyl across the U.S. border. And so there you go. It's a plan to just make sure that Canada and Mexico have enough time to meet those goals. And I pulled up the article as well on CTV just to show you that it's not like some weird dungy Reuters thing. Like, it's actually there. Like, it says even breaking news at the top of CTV's banner. Canadian sources say no word from Trump as Reuters reports president is now eyeing March 1st tariffs, with the pretty much identical write-up from Reuters. So there you have it, folks. We get a bit of an extension, and I think this is a power play move by President Trump. This was pretty much predicted. I kept saying, well, it was predicted by me, not necessarily by our politicians. I kept saying we should not have a retaliatory response. We should only be focused on getting the job done, because we don't even know if the tariffs are going to come on that date. Maybe they get extended. Maybe they get canceled. Maybe we get more time. You go back 5-6 videos and you see me saying these things. Why is it that a YouTuber sitting in a hotel room overlooking Tofino can come to this conclusion, but these idiot politicians that run our country can't? Like, it's just so frustrating that I'm not saying I got all the right ideas, but how is it that I can come to this conclusion and our politicians are ignoring this reality? The only politician that can actually agree with this is Danielle Smith, who's again trying to find a border Caesar to get the job done. She's hired Blackhawks to go and fly and patrol. Hopefully they don't crash into planes, RIP. She's hiring more and more people, freaking crying out loud, dog drugs and all these people to go and patrol that border so that we can actually show that we're getting the job done. Meanwhile, every other a-hole in a suit and tie from Ottawa is going, oh, we're going to think of a retaliatory response. What the heck, man? Read the room. Read the room. We know you're all running for leadership. You're not going to win a trade war with America. Like, that's just so stupid. I hate that level of pandering. And I hate that I was almost essentially right about this. And again, our politicians haven't acknowledged this as even a reality. They're still thinking, okay, well, now we got to think of a retaliatory response for March 1st because we know he's going to put them on March 1st. No, bro, you got 28 days, 29 days, 30 days to get the job done. So go do it, Canada. Let's think of Canada first. Let's get the job done, secure our borders. And you know what? That doesn't just stop the trade war. That also benefits us here living in Canada. But again, I'm just some dude making YouTube videos in a hotel room overlooking the Tofino Beach. Thanks for watching, everybody. Like and subscribe, please, before I get canceled. And I'll see you guys in another one. Bye for now.